Support for Greater Chattanooga is provided by EPB Fiber Optics and UNUM.
Climbing is partly an adventure. One of the things that makes climbing so awesome as a sport is you can choose that adventure.
To me, I just need to climb. I like the movement, I like the exercise, I like the problem solving, whether I'm indoors or outdoors. I like the feeling of being remote, knowing that it's you and your climbing partner and nature.
The rock here is very different to the rock where we will live in California. Different texture, very different environment. Chattanooga is just one of those places that has got so much incredible rock climbing really close to it. That's what made us think, yeah, Chattanooga would be a really cool place to live because you got proximity to all this amazing, high-quality rock.
Now it's like looking back over a period of time that we've been visiting, and I do feel like, we've sort of seen this explosion in the climbing scene out here.
Right now, Chattanooga is firmly on the rock climbing map. It's a national, it's a worldwide destination for folks at this point.
We knew it was a worldwide destination. When I came to Chattanooga, probably in the late 70s, that's when kind of a new core group of climbers were emerging in Chattanooga. Rob Robinson is photographing me on this climb. It's called Pigs in Space, probably early 80s. The South was never really on anybody's radar, but until they came here and climbed here and realized that the quality of the rock, the way the rock lent itself to a very high standard of climbing, it was inevitable that it was gonna take off, and it did. Just like anywhere outdoors, the more you expose something, then that leads to complications.
Climbing in the early or mid to late 90s was very clandestine in and around Chattanooga. There were very few crags that had really solid climbing access where climbers knew that they were welcome to be and there was legitimate access.
Especially here in the Southeast, we have a pretty unique situation here in that a lot of our climbing's on private property. The SEC started in 1993, and the reason we exist today is because a few climbers used to come out here to Sunset Rock.
Initially, there were so few of us climbing at Sunset that it really didn't matter. It wasn't an issue. As climbing became more popular and more people started getting into it, then you start having overcrowding at the parking lot.
In the 90s, the National Park Service decided they were going to shut off climbing up here. So a group of people got together, they formed an organization, a coalition, and they talked to the Park Service. They started building relationships with the rangers, and it worked. So Sunset Rock is still available to climb at today because of that initial reaching out from the climbers.
They had a big hand in making it an open access area to the most popular bouldering area, which they now call Stone Fort. It used to be difficult to go there. People would sneak in. The relationship wasn't very good with the owner. And now the owner realizes, oh, climbers actually, bring me a lot of business.
They make, money selling passes for people to go climb there. And we work with them to do trail days and just to make sure that the climbing impact is not too much and that they also, keep it open to climbers. On a busy weekend, they see upwards of 400 people. One of the biggest changes you've seen in climbing is the amount of people that do it.
The climbing world really started changing fast when climbing gyms started opening. The gym down here introduces vast numbers of people to climbing that would never even have thought to do it. And just the location of the gym being in downtown, it exposes people to it. Before you know it, you got like thousands of people that are now climbers and that may never have got into it otherwise.
Moving to Chattanooga gave us this opportunity to start the climbing school together. Where we were living in California, that wasn't really possible. You need a climbing gym for that to happen. And we were in a bit of a remote location. We had been traveling and I was kind of living the life of a professional climber and, did international competitions. It was a very unique career and loved it. But at some point I just wanted to settle down more. So we talked about doing a business together.
Seeing our business grow from having just a few kids that we coach on a small club to seeing those same kids like 4 years later, like now they're competitors.
It is very rewarding teaching people. We've learned so much over the years through our climbing. I feel, like we've reached a pretty high level with what we have achieved, and now I want to pass it on. We try to teach them to be good ambassadors for the sport as well.
The community sees climbers as legitimately good stewards of property.
Climbers used to have a stigma as dirtbag climbers that didn't bring any thing to a community, they didn't spend money. I think communities embrace climbers because they're realizing climbers now bring something to their community.
We worked with UTC locally to do a climbing impact study on climbing in the economy, and we found climbing brings in a lot of money to the city.
Chattanooga is definitely moving in the right direction. I noticed that for sure, that the magazines are talking about it.
People are making a choice to move to Chattanooga solely from that adventure sport aspect.
There's a long history of climbing in Chattanooga, and without that, obviously there would be no climbing gyms because no one would even think to do it.
If you have passion around something, then knowing where it came from at a young person's level now or somebody getting into the sport, it adds a depth to why they're drawn to it. Historic view, I think, keeps us together.
If you're a fan of Greater Chattanooga, support it. Becoming a sustaining member of WTCI is easy and affordable, and it makes a big difference. Visit greaterchattanooga.org/donate. Thanks.